Hey everyone, welcome to 5 Minutes with David. Today we are going to talk about something very heavy that's been weighing on my heart, and I believe it is weighing on yours too. Racism. It is not the kind that we only find in the headlines, but the kind that seeps into our daily lives without realizing it. The small judgments, the quiet ignorance, the very thing that is dividing us. Let's start with the quote that's etched into the very soul of everyone who believes in justice. Dr. Martin Luther King's iconic speech, I Have a Dream, in August 28, 1963. And I quote, "I have a dream that one day in this nation, my 4 children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character." You've probably heard of the shorter, widely used version. That I have a dream that one day people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. That dream is still unfulfilled, and racism remains an epidemic that feels like it has no cure. It is not a physical ailment, but a toxic mindset, a sickness of the heart and mind that seeps into every level of life. It thrives on ethnic differences, delusions of color superiority, social status, and minor things that makes people feel distinct. Anything that makes one person feels better than the other. It is a blight that affects every person. It doesn't matter your education, your religion, even your position. It is like a bad seed implanted deep into the soul. It's so ingrained that pulling it out feels almost impossible. Worst of it all, those infected don't even realize they are sick. Racism warps perception to the point where ignorance, hatred, and judgment feels normal. And it's not just about skin color. Xenophobia, anti-Semitism. We stigmatize people for their body shape, their height, their body orientation, or any trait that does not fit our narrow idea of normal. It is as if some of us are desperate to find flaws in others in order to feel good about ourselves, driven by insecurity, fear, or plain ignorance. We call people disgusting names because of their ethnicity. We dehumanize them. We call them animals, when the only inhumanity here is our own. Think about how absurd it is. We've advanced enough to launch rockets into the moon, map the 8 planets, and understand their unique properties. But we still can't accept that the people sharing the earth with us are different. We can't accept that people are different. But you see, it is the different colors in a piece or an art that makes it colorful. Even the White House isn't just one color. It is a mix of hue that makes it beautiful. So, why should we insist humanity should be monochromatic? What is the point of all our knowledge if we can't grasp that diversity is what makes the world vibrant? This isn't just a big picture problem. It is in our workplaces, our schools, our social media feeds, and even our sports stadiums. This sickness touches everyone, even those we'd expect to be above it. Recently, Zambians trolled Ghana's president over his clothing because it did not match their country's norms. A nation's leader, someone meant to embody unity, used an animal's imagery to mock a former president. So, even those in position, even leaders cannot rise above this. What hope is there for the rest of us? And to be honest, if you have laughed at somebody's chubbiness, facial features, or their stature, you've dipped your toe into this same toxic water. Racism isn't just about overt hate. It is about the small, thoughtless judgments that normalize division. Those normal jokes, they aren't normal. They plant seeds of division that grow over time. Even sports, soccer, or football, something that's supposed to unify us, something that brings us together to compete and show our talents, isn't immune. Racism mars games, undermines athletes, and turns joy into anger. Sports teach us that we grow by competing with others, not just ourselves. But racism robs us of this lesson. Sanctions don't work, boycotts don't work, and closing stadiums only brings tension. So, what can we do? That's why we are here today. Actionable, practical things we can do to do away with racism, make our communities better, and fulfill Dr. King's dream. Let's dive in. First, we need to accept a simple truth. The world cannot consist of only you and your loved ones. As John Holmes puts it, it is well to remember that the entire universe, with one trifling exception, composed of others. Inbreeding of ideas, of perspective, of humanity will only destroy us. Diversity will help us to grow, to survive, to become better. And we can only do that by listening and amplifying the voices of the marginalized. I know I mentioned listening earlier, but let's expand on it because this is non-negotiable. When someone shares with you how racism has hurt them, don't argue. Don't make it about yourself. Don't just say, I am not a racist, so this doesn't apply to me. Just listen. Actively listen. And once you listen, amplify their voice. Speak up for them when they are not in the room. For the marginalized has been silenced for far too long. Next up is education and empathy. This go hand in hand with listening. We can fight ignorance by not learning. Encourage yourself and those around you to take time to learn about different cultures, histories, and experiences. Try new food. This isn't checking a box. It is breaking down the stereotypes that fuels racism. When we do that, by learning about someone's background, we see them as human beings as we are and not just a label. And empathy is the one thing that encourages and helps this growth. And let's go back to that small act I talked about earlier. Call out discrimination even when it's harmless. That joke a friend shared at a party, that offhand comment a friend shared about someone's accent at the workplace. Don't keep quiet. Don't keep silent. Speak up. Because silence normalizes harm. You don't have to be rude, but you can say, hey, let's not speak about people like that. It is not cool. It is not good to speak about people like that. Because when we do that, we show love. Love is trying to make people we care about better. That is the essence of love. So let's try to correct others. Let's not keep quiet. Let's try to correct others when they make a mistake. Let's not enforce it. Thirdly, community engagement. Change doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when we come together. Support initiatives that bring people of different backgrounds together. Volunteer your time. When we interact with others face to face, we break down barriers of division. When we come together, we realize that we are more alike than we are different. We all want to be loved. We all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. And community is the antidote to division. And finally, leadership by example. This is for all of us, not just CEOs and presidents. If you are a parent, teach your kids diversity and kindness. If you are a teacher, create an atmosphere where every student is valued. If you are in a position of leadership at work. Model inclusive behavior where everyone feels safe. Now, let's take a lesson from the Zambian president. You remember what I told you earlier about Zambia and Ghana. Now, when the Zambian president realized this mishap, he declared a duty-free for fugu. He did not double down. He rectified the mistake by allowing a duty-free for fugu, that is the cloth that the president of Ghana wore. We all need to emulate that amongst our friends, in our place of work. When we see that something is wrong, we don't need to double down or just ignore it. We need to call it out and rectify them. Healing starts with a mentality shift. Society as a whole must make a conscious, intentional choice to accept people as they are, not in spite of their differences, but because of them. Dr. John C. Maxwell said it best in his book, Intentional Living. He said, instead of putting people in their place, we must put ourselves in their place or in their shoes, exchanging our perspective with theirs. And thus, empathy, not just feeling bad for someone, but truly understanding their experience. Empathy without action is just pity, and we need both. I know this feels overwhelming sometimes. We can't just erase racism. It has been there for centuries, but we can start planting seeds of kindness, respect, inclusiveness. Now, I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to drop in the comments, what's the one thing you are going to do to fight racism? Is it listening to a podcast about different backgrounds? Is it going to volunteer? Is it going to teach your kids about diversity? All right, this is 5 Minutes with David. I want you to smash the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe so that you get new episodes as I come online. Thank you.